Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video review for June the 6th, let's talk about what the traders are focusing in on and where some of the attention is. There's definitely kind of a pent up anticipation for Thursday, and Thursday is interesting for a number of reasons. Sure, the Comey testimony is absolutely in play, but of course we've got parliamentary elections in the UK, and we've got Mario Draghi and the ECB, and if that isn't enough, BOC Governor Stephen Pelosi will be speaking at 11:15 a.m. Eastern. A lot of interesting currency events, central bank events, and then, of course, the political event that's happening in the U.S. So when you look at the equities markets right now, this is what I call guillotine syndrome. There's a bit of wait and see and probably some anxiety, some uncertainty. And uncertainty usually gets people hitting the panic button, which happens to also masquerade around as the sell button. So to see a little bit of profit taking, to see a little bit of hesitation up here as we close in on this doesn't surprise me at all, especially kind of going into the close and after the close. The pullback at NQ, I welcome it, because what we want to see, preferably a 480 or maybe a daily time frame correction to allow us to get long again this very nice uptrend. You know, green grab candles, 4 to 6 o'clock angle. We want to focus on the buys longer term. And remember that if we do take a short, stay nimble, stay short term, because at that point, we're swimming upstream. So Nikkei and Nas end up being the nice trends that we continue to focus on. So again, I welcome the pullback on Nikkei. I want to get long again. We've parked a limit order to buy at, what, 19,605. In terms of a catalyst, I'll probably look for the Nikkei to respond to the mood the U.S. market hands off to the Friday open for the Nikkei. So after Thursday into the Friday morning into Thursday evening, I think this could be a nice post-Comey type reaction if we're going to see the fill on Thursday evening, and that's going to be the Friday open for the Asian session. When I say Thursday evening, I mean Eastern, right? I'm on the East Coast of the U.S. So that, I think, timing-wise is what I'm looking at there, right? The Nikkei. A couple other things that I've got my eye on. I'm looking for entry number 2 on coffee. And, you know, there's something that I love to emphasize here at Simpler Futures, and that is that we've got 3 amazing traders, 2 guys that I'm so proud and honored to work with, who I actually really like. I like them as humans, and I like them as traders. And I got to tell you, gang, I've been at this for 30 years. That's an unbelievably great combination. And they have one other thing that make these guys just flat out unicorns. They're transparent. They show you what they do. They repeat the same type of entries over and over and over again. So you know what they're going to do because they're very transparent about it. It's understandable and it's repeatable. It's not subjective and it's not always backwards looking. It's fantastic. And I start to gush about them because I really like these 2 gentlemen, Mr. David Starr and Mr. Neil Yeager. And for those of you that don't know them, if you're gold members, you're going to get to know them very well because they're going to be covering the morning session in the Simpler Futures Gold chat room Monday through Friday. By the way, gold members are also, they also get the pre-market access with myself, Raghee Horner, from 8 to 9:30 Eastern every morning, and then from 4 to 5 p.m. I'm doing a post-close wrap-up and pre-Asian market outlook. By the way, I have actually probably anecdotally about 20 to 25% of my fills will come during the Asian session, especially on the equities side, or the preparation, the setup will manifest there. So when it comes to shelf life, let me mention something. I sort of took a little tangent there to gush about David and Neil. When it comes to shelf life, let me talk about something here, and it pertains to coffee. We're going to have a heads up minimum, usually, because we're trading longer term time frames, even on 60-minute time frames. I'm usually going to give you guys a heads up of hours, if not sometimes days. Okay, we had a coffee heads up in our last fill, which was a great trade, gang. We had a heads up on this one of 2 full days before the trade triggered on coffee, taking advantage of the 130 right here, the one, as you can see here, 33, 132.80 area. So I'm looking to do it again, right? The waves traveled down a little bit, but you know, it's a dynamic level, but I'm still looking to execute the same type of trade. I'm still looking to swing short, but this time it's basically between 130.70 and 131.45. Okay, I want to make sure you guys get the levels that I'm looking at. So yeah, even in these recap free videos, I'm going to share with you the trades that I'm looking at. So as I look at this July contract of coffee, and I'm looking for another a re-entry, let me give you guys a little insight into the way we manage this thing. And I'm just going to talk about the entry to the first profit target so you get an idea of what we did. All right. So we entered at 130.70 and we rode this thing down to, I believe we looked to get out of, I think, aggressively at 128.55 and a little, I think, and then I said, hey, if you want to be a little bit more piggy, you can go with 127.55. Okay. So really, it could have been anywhere between 128.55 and 127.55. Well, I'm going to take the 128.55, and that was an $800 move. That was an $800 move. Now, it continued lower, and then we stepped out again at 125.55. Actually, I think it was 126.05. I'll have to look at my platform. We stepped out again at 126.05. It was $1,700. I mentioned that because coffee is a fairly expensive initial margin. So people say, well, what kind of return am I looking for? Well, we're not ever looking for the market to make a lower low for our initial profit target, which is why we wanted to step out in front of 127.5. But after we break that, we can start looking at other handles. Well, I'm going to do something very similar again. 130.70, 131.45, and then the two downside targets I'm giving them to you right now. 127.85 and then 125.85 are going to be the downside targets after we get the fill. And you might say, well, Rog, we're at 125.55. Believe me, when I parked the order up here and said, hey, gang, we're waiting for 132.80 or 132.75, and this thing was sitting down at 127.50, it seems like it's never going to get back there, right? Be patient, gang. Healthy trends correct. And I'm going to leave you with that here in this video. Now, coffee may be a trade you're not interested in. It may not be a market you're interested in, right? But what I want you to remember about coffee, it's a trend trade. It's the same trend trade we're going to put on in the euro. It's the same trend trade that's allowed me to share trades in Nasdaq and NQ. It's the strategy that I'm emphasizing here. Again, don't get caught up on the symbol. We're going to take a look at index futures, currency futures, commodities, softs, grains, meats. It's the same setup that allowed me to take a really nice winner in live cattle. It's a swing trend follow corrective entry. You figure this thing out, gang. Not that I want you to be one-dimensional, but if you figure that entry out, if you learn what I'm teaching you here, it's something you can use the rest of your life. Okay, gang? Trends rock. I'll see you in the next update.